we're doing, everyone. Welcome back to Vintage Cars Ireland, and we are back with the Mazda this week. We're going to be doing a full replacement of the brake calipers and the pads. Before we dive into it, I really just want to say thanks so much to everyone who subscribed. We have reached our first 100 subscribers and it is really appreciated. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. So what we're looking at here is a full new set of brake pads and brake calipers that we need to get onto the car. Then we're going to take it off for a drive and see how these perform. I do also want to say just a massive thanks to BOFI Racing. They got these calipers and pads out to us as quickly as they could when they knew I was under a bit of time pressure, so it really is appreciated. The tools we are going to need today are an impact gun, drills, a hammer, we're going to need various wrenches and sockets, we're going to need WD-40, brake cleaner, and we're also going to need copper grease. So the first job is to get the car up off the ground. If you do want to skip the brake replacing and work on that, just skip on the video where we get some lovely driving footage and see how the car handles. So we're going to turn the wheel out towards us so we have nice access to those bolts for the caliper. There's a staggered pattern for the caliper bolts. First time I've ever seen this, which is quite weird. One was a 17mm and the other was a 14mm bolt. Remove these and proceed to removing the caliper and the brake line. A little tip for you: if you don't want to lose all of your brake fluid, put this little clamp on your brake line so that it doesn't all come out when you remove the brake line itself. Next job was to remove the old brake line, and then we're going to remove the old brake pads. After that, I had to remove the old slider pins, and comparing the old pads and the brake calipers by looks alone, they should be far more effective when stopping and braking on the roads. Before installing the new pads, I added some copper grease to the sides of the pads so they can move freely on the slider pins and brake a lot more effectively. After installing the new pads, they were being a little bit tricky for me. It was time to put on our new calipers. The process for replacing the rest of the brakes was essentially the same, so I'm not going to bother showing you replacing the rest of them. We're just going to do this one and move on to the next job. Just to have one final look at the brakes before we move on. They do look a lot better than what the old ones used to look, and I'm looking forward to taking the car out for a drive and seeing how they perform compared to the old brakes that used to be on the car. Before getting the car back on the ground, I do want to replace the radiator because I just do not trust the one that's in the car. If you looked at the previous video, it is ready to burst, it's in really bad condition, and I'm going to replace it with one that I already got second hand. Now, ideally I would replace this with a new unit. I have ordered one, but it just hasn't arrived yet, so for ease of mind I am just going to use that second hand one that I have, as it's a lot safer. After getting all of this replaced, it is time to take the car out for a drive and see how it performs. Now, just before we finish off the voiceovers, I do want to give my own personal first impressions on the Tein Street Advanced Coilovers and on the new brakes that we installed in the video. I do think that the new brakes and coilovers perform brilliantly on the country roads. They do make the car feel far sharper going around fast bends, and the new brakes feel very responsive, so I have to say I am really impressed with how these have stood up to the task. I do know that I'm not going to win any track days or anything like that with this setup, but for what I want the car for is just country road driving, and I am really pleased with how this has turned out, so couldn't be happier, to be honest. So I'm going to end the voiceover here, so please tune in next week. We do have our car road safety test coming up this weekend, and the pressure really is on for that. We also have a car meet coming up on that same day, so it's going to be kind of a mini road trip where we take it to the car safety test early that morning, and then we have to try and make it over to the car meet as quickly as possible. So looking forward to that. It is a bit stressful, but it should be quite exciting at the same time. So again, please tune in next week, subscribe and like and share. Thanks very much.